trustees, teachers, and my parents and my dear students. It gives me enormous joy for me to come to school than any other place for various reasons. A, I am a granddaughter of a school teacher. B, I am a daughter of a professor. C, I am the daughter-in-law of a school teacher. D, I myself, I am a teacher. I used to teach computer science in Christ University, and later I became so irregular than my own students. Then I said I will come on a management than a teacher because of my hectic schedules. Children give me enormous joy because they are innocent. And this is the first time I'm addressing any school in Bombay. I have not addressed any school in Bombay. I'll come only for the... I have only come to Bombay for meetings, never to a school. So when there was an urgent meeting came down today evening, I have a 7 o'clock meeting, then I thought, why can't I come little early? Anyway, I waste half a day in Bangalore traffic reaching airport. I rather leave at 5 in the morning, reach Bombay at 8:30 so that I can have a session with the students, and then I opted for this. I'll tell you a small story. I am a grandmother of 2 grandkids. Like today's how grandkids are there, they are like that, normal, okay? That means more talking and less listening. And my granddaughter's name is Krishna, and she told me, they live in London. One day I told her to eat banana fruit. You know, we India consider it's a good fruit. Eat. And then she said me, Ajji, give me she calls me Ajji, like any Kannada grandmother is called, or Maharashtrian grandmother is called. She said, Ajji, give me a set of reasons why one should eat banana, a 5 years kid, okay? I said, okay, I will tell you a story, and then you feel like eating, you eat. I said, there was a rishi by the name Durvasa. I'm sure most of you know. Durvasa is the fellow, wherever he goes, he gives shapa, he curses. He gets so upset so fast. So there was a rishi by the Durvasa who was a very short-tempered fellow. Whenever he used to go to anybody's place, they used to get scared of him. Why this fellow has come, let him go as early as possible. I'm sure when you are not a nice person, nobody welcomes you. One day his wife told him, look, people, when you go, people run away. Whereas I stayed with you for such a long time. Don't you think I deserve a boon or a special gift? First he was very upset. Then he said, okay, fine, I'll give you a special gift. What do you want? She said, I want a fruit which is not grown in Devaloka or up above heaven, which is grown on the earth. Yet it should be used to worship God. B, it should flower once a year and it should not have any seeds. C, all parts of that tree should be used in cooking. D, it should not have, it should flower, it should give fruits only once in a year, and the fruit should be not messy kind, not like a mango or apple. And such fruit, without giving that to God, the puja will be incomplete. He said, okay. He made a tree and gave the fruit to the god, and then he called that, her name was Kadali, so he called that fruit the Kadali Phala. Kadali in Sanskrit became banana in English later. So whatever banana tree you see, that is the intelligence of a woman who told her husband the kind of fruit which is easy to eat, whose leaves are used for eating, whose bark is in the stem is used in cooking, whose flower is used in a cooking, which flowers once a year, and there are no seeds. So I told, it's such a great fruit on the earth. If you don't want to eat Krishna, you don't have to eat. But only learned people eat this one. Suddenly Krishna became upset. No, I want to be a learned person, and took the banana and ate. What I'm telling you is, every generation, it's really wrong to tell that our generation has a lot more stress. That is totally wrong. Parents, please remove it from your head in case you have such things. I was in Egypt about 15 years back. Then I took on Egyptology, that is a person who knows how to read hieroglyphy, who knows more about Egyptian history, and went to one place which is 7,000 years old, and there I saw the pyramid. Inside the pyramid there was hieroglyphy, so I asked that fellow, what it is written here, you tell me. This fellow told me, the builder of Egypt pyramid have written about next generation. Next generation doesn't respect time, doesn't respect money, doesn't respect elders. They have less common sense, they are less hardworking. I really do not know how they will survive. Suddenly I felt like, my parents talking to me like that. Every generation feels next generation is less than ours. We are very hardworking, we talk. No, that is really not true. Every generation has their own plus and minus. Some totally same. Any mathematics teacher or any students who love mathematics will appreciate this. What is 1 by 2? Half. 1 by 2 is 2 by 4. It is also equal to 3 by 6. It's also equal to 4 by 8. It's also equal to 16 by 32. The moment I say 1 by 2 and 16 by 32, 16 is a huge number, 1 is small, but the ratio remains the same. And that is the way every generation has their own plus, minus, their own strengths. Okay, their own stress. In olden days, how parents were worried, I know. I have seen my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother and me, and my daughter, 6, 7 generations I have seen. They were always worried about disease because if there was no antibiotic in those days. If the child gets fever, the mother would have been panicked. Today you go to a pediatrician. In those days it was not there. Next generation I have seen there is no connectivity. Coming to Bombay is once in lifetime, particularly from people from Karnataka. Every generation undergoes a different stress, but they do undergo stress. Now coming to this topic, they told me that you have to address parents. I said I wanted to address students actually, but if parents are interested, I can. But students may get bored. I want to tell something to students and then I will address parents. Students, you should understand one thing. When you are in school, somebody looks after you. Your teacher, your parents look after you. They will tell you some good words and you really get bored. When they start sermon, your mind goes away somewhere. Because I was also a student once upon a time. Too many things that someone tells you, then you won't like it, actually. You won't like it. And too many things we should not tell also. If we want to tell parents, you should always tell in the form of a story. Never tell directly. You should be hardworking. Always tell a story because that is more effective. As a child, you may not like it. But please remember, people who care for you only will tell. Third person will not tell. In our hierarchy, in Indian tradition, we say first Matru Devo Bhava because mother is the one who is closest to you. She will tell. Then it's a father, Pitru Devo Bhava. And third one is Acharya Devo Bhava. Acharya means not Pandit or Bharji. Acharya means teacher who teaches you. Teacher cares for you. Please remember, a good teacher cares for you. And later, in college life, no teacher tells you. Because it doesn't matter you pass or fail. As a college teacher, I knew I have to go complete my syllabus and I will get my salary, I will come back. But in school, it won't happen because this is the impressive years you are undergoing from LKG to 10th standard here. Good 14 years, up to ISC if you go, good 14 years of your life. There are always teachers and they are third in the hierarchy who care for you. Please remember, someone cares for you, have the authority to scold you also. And they tell in the right way, please don't underestimate your parents and your teachers. It's your duty to understand what they are telling, for what reason they are telling. And you have to actually accept it. And later it will pay its price later part of your life. What you don't learn now will never be learnt later. It is always false ideas. When I grow big, I will do. I don't know how many of you have read my book, The Story of Portado. I don't know the day. I won't remember which book I read. The day I stopped drinking milk. Somewhere I want to give that incident. So it's 1:30 up to 2 I will finish. Then the remaining time I'll give for question answers. Portado, it's a real life story. Portado was my classmate. He was reasonably bright, maybe very bright, I suppose. Never came to school, never came to college. I was in engineering college. He used to say he was from Goa. He used to come, he was in the hostel and he never used to come to college. Our college was 7 to 11. He will come around 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Earliest mean 9 o'clock. And he will sit here, sit there, attend 2 classes. After that, afternoon he will come for the lab, etc. End of the year, 1 month he will get up early and he will study. And there is a method in college. You take question papers, April and October. Whatever comes in October will never come in April. Okay, I'm sure in the school also you have midterm will never come to final. Okay, so eliminate these question answers and then make a approximate question paper and study that, and he used to get a first class. He did all 4 years like this. Once I asked Potato, why you are such a bright person? You don't come to class. If you come regularly, you can get distinction. You can get a rank. He said, Sudha, you do not know. In life, it is not the education. It is the connection it really works. And we have to build a lot of connections, when you are young, it helps you. I came from a middle class family. My father was a doctor, a gynecologist. I never understood this connection, all those things. Then he said, my father was in military. We were in Calcutta. There was a club, which we have never seen in our real life. So we thought maybe he's a big man and it is beyond our, hamara bas ka baat nahi, I felt. So it's something new. Years passed. In 1972, I finished my engineering, so was Potato, and I didn't meet him for a long time. After 35 years, I think 2008 or 9, I had been to Dubai to deliver a lecture. And when the lecture was over, I saw somebody waiting for. And then he said, ma'am, I was waiting for you. I was surprised, a place like Dubai, who will wait for me? Then he said, I am Potato. I could not recognize because in 30-40 years, people put on weight, your hair will be grey. All those physical changes will happen. I said, Potato, I would not have recognized. I was very happy. I told him, let us sit down and talk. He said, no, I just wanted to tell you one word to you. So I was waiting. I said, what happened? He said, do you remember in college I used to bunk class? I said, of course I remember you. Potato means bunking class. He said, I used to bunk class and I joined a job. And because in those days, the moment you have BE, you used to get job in my time. And my bosses came to know that, my subordinates came to know that I don't have knowledge. Getting a first class marks are different than knowledge. Please remember, parents, your children should be in the pursuit of knowledge than the marks. Though it's a competitive examination. I agree. It is a competitive world. Competition is 1,000 times or 10,000 times more than what time I had. But with all those things, the knowledge which always helps you than your marks in real life. So he said, I got marks, but I did not have knowledge. Once the subordinates know that you don't have knowledge, they don't respect you. Once the boss knows you don't have knowledge, then he wants a reason to kick you out. I was kicked out from one job, then I took a second job, and I was so much used to getting up 9 in the morning, I'll go late to the office. I was kicked out there also. Over a period of time, I couldn't get job anywhere. And now I have a job as a manager job or a smaller job in Dubai. And I said, what about your family? He said, I have 2 daughters. I left them in Chennai to study. I said, what? He said, yes, I want they should study well. They should not become like me. I just waited for you to tell Sudha one thing. When we were young, I used to make fun of you. He used to tell me, you are like a running race horse. Because the horse will see neither left nor right, it runs. Same way, you always were academic and we used to make fun of you. Today, when we called you nerd, and I thought I was very smart, today I feel you are successful and I wasted my life. I just wanted to tell you, if you don't discipline when you are school or in college, you pay a heavy price in later part of your life. Discipline, like coming up in a proper way, writing properly, talking properly, communicating properly, respecting people properly. This really helps a long way in your life. So I don't want you should be like Potato, regretting in your old age. You should remember that to be successful in life, there is no shortcut. The only method is hard work and straight way. And that you have to do. And remember one more part. that your school, you come as a raw product to school, like a raw material to school. School churns you out 14 years and takes you out as a finished good. You come out as a young toddler here, and you go out as a fine teenager. The school has done so much, not for the fees what you give. Your fees are minimal when you compare to the kind of advantage you get in real life. Your teachers, your parents, everyone puts so much hard work to make you a young teenager. Please remember, the school is your alma mater. And when you grow big, when you make money more than what you need, you should always help your alma mater, because that is the place which has given you a life in real life. This I wanted to tell you. The budget of Harvard University is more than the Pakistan's national budget. The budget of Harvard University is run by its old students. Alma mater, they are old students in every university in US, even in India we have started that, but it is run by the past students who give their enormous part of enormous wealth back to their college, because college or school does great work to make a fine human being. So a role of a teacher, role of a student is very important. My grandfather was a school teacher, I told you before. He was a high school teacher, and we lived in a village. So in the evening, both of us used to sit on the, outside the village. There will be a small park, in front of our house. We used to sit there, and people who pass our house used to tell, "Namaste, Master Ji." Everybody. Once I asked my grandfather, maybe 7, 8 years old, why do they call everyone, including the Patel of the village, including the Mukhya, everyone says Namaste, Master Ji. Why? My grandfather told me a very nice shloka from Mahabharata. He told, Arjuna, the mighty warrior, the great warrior, always used to respect his teacher Dronacharya. And somebody asked him, "Oh Arjuna, you are such a famous man. You are a king. You have a lovely wife. You have so much wealth. Why do you always worship your teacher who doesn't have even any money compared to you?" He says, that is not true. Na rajyam. That's the reason I want you should introduce Sanskrit, because it's one of the most beautiful language of our land, which has great classics like this, which tells you, na rajyam, na dhanam, na kanakam. That means it says, no kingdom, neither a beauty nor money. In this life, nothing stays with you. The most beautiful person today become old one day. Today, whatever you see, Deepika Padukone, she will become old one day. In my time, Vajantimala was so beautiful. She also became old one day. Old age is a part of life. People who were very rich once upon a time may not remain like that, because money is always wavering. People who had a lot of lands must have lost lands due to many reasons. So in life, nothing is permanent. What is permanent? He says, knowledge is permanent. Knowledge nobody can steal, nobody can burn, nobody can bury. Knowledge is something, the more you give, the more wealthy you become. As a teacher, I'm sure all teachers will agree, first year we are not great teachers. Second year will be a better teacher. Third year, perfect teacher. Because every year you go on teaching, you know your flaws. Not students will tell, but we know our flaws when you teach. Was I really fast? Was I condensing? Was I not convincing? You learn your faults every year and you improve. And that's the reason the more you teach, better teacher you become. More knowledge you give, better person you become. So he says the teacher is the one, he's the greatest philanthropist. He or she may not have much money, but a teacher is the one, the greatest philanthropist in life, who gives away their knowledge to others. And that's the reason we should always respect teachers. And teachers are the most important people in your life. Please remember that. Coming to parents now. My granddaughter asked me, "Aji, were you young any time in your life?" I said, "Yes, beta. Once upon a time I was also young, Because they have not seen me as young person. I was like you, young woman, once upon a time with the small children in the school. And one thing I learned, there are three types of competition. One is competition in the market, or in the school, or in the field. Most parents will have competition with their children. What is your son scored? I never ask that one. how much your son scored and how much my son scored and compare. Don't do that. It is not good for you and worse for your child. Every flower is beautiful, but it's in own way. You cannot say rose is better, hibiscus is not. No. Hibiscus has its own property, its own color, its own volume, and it looks different. Every child is a flower by himself or herself. Do not compare. And when my children used to appear for the exam, they get marks, I will just keep quiet. I have seen many parents, because I came from a teacher's family, I understood what it is. But I have seen parents, they will retotal it. Okay? They retotal, not the child. The child is very happy to play outside. Oh, teacher has not given 1 mark here. In programming, there is 1 mark less. Out of 10, she has given 9. But it is a real problem. The programming is really right. So he or she should get 10. Next day they come with that, sir, you should give my child, or madam, you should give 10 marks. Okay. Due to some reason, the child, what happens while correcting paper, even as a teacher, I know. For us, between 9 and 10, there is not much difference. It is very, very good. Okay. Logically, handwrite, everything is good, give 10. Little bit of the difference is there, give 9. Okay, that's the way. Normally, I never give 10 marks to anybody. Always keep them a little low. Always we prefer to give, as a teacher, you don't want to give 100 out of 100 in language at least. No language other than Sanskrit you can get 100 out of 100. Because language is individual taste. In mathematics and all, you cannot help it, because logically you should do that one. But still, if the child gets 99, parents said, I have seen so many parents telling their child, the child comes with the report, I got 95. Instead of being happy for 95, where did you lose the remaining 5 marks? Don't ever do that. If you burn them when they are young, they will be burnt out by the time they come to college. And you regret for that. Don't make your child burnt out by the age of 14 or 16 or 18. They have big life ahead. You want your child what is your aim in life actually? You should question that. What is your aim in life? I want my child should get always first rank. It is not possible. Because this world has many bright people, many scoring people, many good people. Not that nobody can remain in the zenith for a long time. Nobody, including Bill Gates. Nobody can remain. Because Mother Earth, Kalidasa says in one of his classics, Bahuratnani Vasundhara. He says, oh Mother Earth, you have many Kohinoor diamonds with you. Not one Kohinoor, many Kohinoor diamonds. So, your child has many things which is inside. Don't ever think why the child lost 5 marks. Be happy, he got 95. That means almost 5 marks he missed to the perfection. Be happy. Don't go on adding marks and quizzing the teacher why he should not get 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Okay, teacher will say, okay, take 1 more mark, doesn't matter. But by the time, you do, your child observes. Please remember, role models are not Sudhamurthy. Role models to your children are parents. How your mother talks, what lies she tells. Father is later, first is mother. That's something we call a mother tongue. And every mother thinks the child is an extension of her body. It's a reality. When the child cries, why mother? The child is crying, mother is not crying. Nothing happened to mother. The child is hurt, but mother cries. Because every woman, it is biologically and psychologically, the child is extension of her body. If something happens to the child, mother cannot take it. There's a very unusual, unconditional love God has gifted between mother and a child. So you have more responsibility than father. Whatever you do, your child will absorb that like a sponge. Suppose you lie on the telephone. The child says, okay, that is the correct way. You and I should do that. If you compare 95 to 100, when the child grows big and gets a job, he compares himself or herself with his colleague, what promotion he got. Today you compare for marks. Tomorrow they compare for grading, or they compare for the promotions, salary. It is nothing like, I don't say you should not compare. Where you are needed to compare, to learn something new, yes, you have to compare. With whom you have to compete then? You have to compete within yourself. The most important is you have to compete within yourself. Like last year, everyone knows what is my good and bad, everybody knows. You can fool people, but inside you know what is good and what is your weak area. My children used to tell me, Amma, you are very weak mother. I said, what is the definition of a strong mother? When the child doesn't listen, she will see that she will make it him or her to listen. I said, no. Every mother is a weak, because that is the weakest link is a mother actually. Mother's affection. Mother should be strong in certain good in value system. Like smoking is just not allowed. At any cost, it is not allowed. Drug is not allowed at any cost. Telling lie is not allowed at any cost. Not respecting elders is not allowed at any cost. Rest. I want to see 10 minutes TV, 5 minutes TV. Just allow 10 minutes, means give 10 or 12 minutes and switch it off. Don't say that, no, you can't see 10 minutes TV. The child will see neighbor's house and go with 30 minutes TV. So 10 minutes TV, beta, TV is not good to see at this young age. It will affect your eyes. It will affect your eyes. And more than that, let us learn a communication. Other day I was in my friend's house and they said, after many years we all of us met in the US. We said, let the family meet. Everybody came. I went early. I said, there's some 5 minutes time is there. I opened up my iPad and did something. Meantime, another friend came. He thought, others have not come. He took his iPhone and he started something. Third person came. Not all of them have come. He opened his iPad and did something. So, in 10 minutes, many people came, but assuming that nobody has come, everybody were in iPhone, laptop, everything. Then I said, if this is a get-together, why have get-together? If your gadgets, you are busy with the gadgets all the time, and then why have get-together? Because the advantage of gadget is efficiency. It's a great efficient tool, but tool is not all in all life. Sweet or the dessert is very, very nice. Jalebi is very nice to eat, but you cannot fill your stomach only by jalebi. Life is like a thali. Please remember, life is like a thali. In thali, what do you eat? A normal vegetarian thali, I can tell because I'm a vegetarian. 1 cup of rice, 1 bowl of rice, 2 chapati, 1 dal, 1 sabji, 1 raita, dahi, 1 sweet, 2 papad, and little achar. This is a normal thali. When you eat this kind of a food, you feel full at the end of the meal. Even though you may like achar a lot, you can't fill up your stomach with achar. You may like jalebi, you cannot fill up. You may like rice, but you cannot fill up. Okay? The combination of all makes life full. So is human life. Your child may be very good in one thing, but see that he or she will have other parts of the thali. Then only life becomes beautiful. Your child may have an aptitude for drawing. Don't curb it. It is not that, in my work I have seen so many people, actually, particularly in radio jockeys, when I talk to them, most of them are BE. I said, beta, why you did BE and came to radio jockey? He told me, my parents wanted I should become an engineer. And I became, and later at 21, 22, I realized that my mind is not in it. So I came back. Dramatics, I have seen so many people who are basically engineers. And I have a photographer, Mandana. He's an excellent photographer. He said, I did my BE, MTech, and by the time I was 24, I realized I'm not fit for this. Please allow your child to bloom what they want. But legally, ethically, it should be right. I want to be a chore. Okay, that is not correct. No? That is what I like. No, that's not correct. But legally, ethically, it should be right. And also, to some extent, you have to tell commercially viable. Because it's nice to be a good artist. But you cannot live only by art in today's competitive world. You do require money to live. So you should marry between commercial and what you like as much as possible. And such life has much more meaningful and they enjoy more. So as a child, as a mother, I want to tell you, don't compare your child's marks with someone else's. You are introducing unnecessary tension to your child. I have seen in school teenagers like 13, 14 having BP because all the time they're worried if I don't get a first rank. One boy told me it is not my problem if I don't get first rank. My mom will be crying whole day. To make her happy, I should get a first rank. No, don't do that. And first rank and all does not have lot of meaning in real life. As a child, you nice to feel that way. You should always get a first rank. But someday I realized it is good to get good marks. It is good to work hard. But that is not all in life. What you require in life is like a thali meal. You should be intelligent enough to understand the reality, understand the relevance of life, understand what I can do, what I cannot do. There is nothing like, people say, oh, there is no word I cannot do. Napoleon used to say, there is no word know in my dictionary that is good for Napoleon, and I don't know what he really told. There are certain things you cannot do. Okay? Such things you should not get into that actually. Certain things you can improve. Certain things you can definitely excel. Studies are in your hand, you can excel. Results are not in your hand. Because it is grading is done by someone else in a CBSE, ICSE paper that you cannot tell. Okay, I have done well. At the most you can do. Our education system also makes us to do question to answer. But please remember, you have to have compassion. You have to teach your children compassion in a very young age. A discipline. The most important is a discipline in life. Love for the country. Love for the country. And studies, hardworking. But love for the country you should teach. In any of the national anthem or anything is there, if the child doesn't stand up, you should tell the child, if you don't stand up, my mom is to do. If there's a national anthem anywhere, you have to stand up. If you don't stand up, no dinner on that day. Whatever may be your condition, no dinner. So for me, national anthem was associated with the dinner, actually. Okay, as a child. But it became a discipline. Later I realized why. Because as a child, children won't understand the importance of that. But later, they appreciate that. So in general, what I want to tell parents is, don't pressurize. Don't live your children's life through their life. Don't live. I did not become a doctor. Let my child become a doctor. No. To become a doctor was your dream. It may not be her dream. What you cannot complete, they can't complete. Because they may like, may not like. They may complete also. But don't live your life through your dreams through them. Don't ever do that. Because every individual has a life, has a liking, has their own way of leading life. Like everybody should run their own marathon. You cannot make your child to run the marathon which you wanted. So what other parents you can do is, you can encourage, discourage bad values, encourage good values, and then allow them to question. I wrote this book, Serpent Revenge and Other Stories, because as a child I used to ask so many questions, and my parents, my grandparents did not know the answer. They said, don't ask questions in Mahabharata and all, because they themselves did not know. So I just kept my questions with me, and when I grew up, I read about 10 to 20 different Mahabharatas and logically deducted what it could have been the answer. So you should always encourage children to ask questions, and if you do not know answers, don't act. Tell, I do not know. There is nothing wrong. There is no Sarvajna in life. There is nobody who knows everything. There is no one. Second thing, today there is a Google. If you don't tell, they will Google and find out, and they will tell, oh, mom told me a lie. Don't get into that. Say, beta, I do not know. I will see that, I will read, and I will get back to you. So it is not easy to be a parent actually. It is quite a responsible job. But it is also a joyous job. You can see the creativity of a child from a toddler to an LKG to first standard, questioning habits, and then passing the examination, and then turning out to be a fine lady or gentleman. It's such a beautiful, it's like a small plant growing up to a big tree. You can witness that. And what you can do is affectionately to look after without expecting anything from them. Please remember, you are not a money lender. I spent so much money on you, and in my old age you should return. No. We bring up children for our joy. We brought them up, we have to bring them up. It's such a beautiful joy. It's a God's gift to us. Also, it's a responsibility. And if you understand what to do, what not to do, I'm sure you will have a great journey with your children. As a mother, I want to tell you, girls will not listen to you after 14 years. Girls will, about 12, 13 years, girls become little upset, may not tell everything, but they become great friends after 19. Okay? Boys will be very affectionate to mothers up to 14. Okay? After that, they have their whole world, and they look down upon cricket is the greatest thing, other things are less, and all those, because it is all cycles, So enjoy your boys up to 14. Enjoy your girls after 19. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to address both of you.